Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom now.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item, whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, believe it or not. FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready to beat up on some Pelicans tonight. That's the plan, Big Bet Bennett. New Orleans is in town. 7 o'clock tip. It'll be on NBA TV. Ja is questionable with an illness. We'll discuss it momentarily. First, so quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. Jessica Benson is the host of the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, weekdays 8 a.m., Grind City Media. She's going to join me here in about 15 minutes or so. I'll talk Grizzlies with her. Jessica Benson in studio in the next segment. Finish talking to Jess, take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Penny Hardaway's Tigers welcomed Wichita State to FedEx Forum last night. Was it the most beautiful basketball game ever played? No. Was it the most enjoyable? No. But it was a win. And Bennett, what are we doing with the Tigers in the AAC the rest of the way? We're just celebrating wins.
Yes.
We can get caught up on turnovers and missed shots and stuff like that if you want to. I'm just celebrating wins. It was a win last night as opposed to a bad loss. Congratulations to Memphis. We'll discuss it in the third segment. Jaemyn Brakefield is a double-digit scorer at Ole Miss, former 5-star prospect. Started his college career at Duke, transferred to Ole Miss, and is now a key player on a team that's got real Final Four aspirations. I went down to Oxford a couple of times over the past few months, spent some time with him. Got a story publishing today, cbssports.com. If you got a couple minutes, I'd like to tell you about it.
Okay.
We'll do that a little later on in the show. Giannis Antetokounmpo was asked about the Bucks' recent travel issues and had an amazing quote last night that I think provided some common sense to the situation. Makes you wonder what people are complaining about all the time, myself included. All things considered, we got things pretty good. I'll read you Giannis's quote. We'll do that in just a bit. Pete Carroll back in the NFL. He's the oldest coach in the National Football League now. He's going to be coaching the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll get into that a little later on in the show. And the Grammy performers, at least some of them have been announced. Bennett sent me the list. We'll talk through it. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carry Out, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 45 of a scheduled 82, it's set for tonight in downtown Memphis. Pelicans Grizz inside FedEx Forum. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com, 7 o'clock tip. I'm old enough to remember when some folks wondered if the Grizz would be chasing Zion and the Pelicans in the Western Conference, maybe forever. You remember when we used to have those conversations?
I do remember that, yes.
Turns out they stink.
Yeah. He hadn't been there.
They stink. They're 12-32 overall, 4-16 away from the Smoothie King Center. So they don't win much anywhere.
No.
But buddy, when you get them dudes outside of an arena that's named for what amounts to healthy sounding milkshakes, they really struggle. Poor franchise, man. I feel bad for them. They're named after a water bird with a long bill.
I never supported that name change. I know you had to because of like the rights to the Hornets and all that kind of stuff. I was never on board with Pelicans.
They are named after a water bird with a long bill.
Yeah.
And they play inside an arena named after healthy sounding milkshakes.
Which they are they? I mean, the Smoothie King. I think that's like a. I don't know how healthy they are. I'm just putting that out there. I think you hear smoothie, you think health, right?
I think that's the trick.
I don't know how healthy they really are.
Bennett, if you ain't careful, you just pulling into Smoothie King, thinking you're being healthy. Oh, I could go to Zaxby's.
Yeah, right.
But I'm going to.
I'll get a smoothie.
But I'll just get a smoothie.
Yeah.
If you ain't careful, buddy, you'll do 1,500 calories.
Absolutely.
You'll do a 1,500 calorie
Just because it's
smoothie.
liquid doesn't mean anything.
You'd be better off going to Zaxby's and shoving chicken tenders directly into your neck.
Yeah.
You'll do a 1,500.
I'm telling you.
So, yeah, I think they're healthy-sounding milkshakes. I think that's it.
I think you're right.
Sometimes I look at things and I say, I hear the way you guys talk about them, but I'm going to describe them more accurately. Like my friend Brent Stover. You know Brent Stover.
Yeah.
He's a host CBS Sports. He's a former college athlete. I don't know if you know this about him. He's a Division I athlete.
Okay.
He ran cross country at Kansas State in the Big 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, you say wow, but that sounds good. Oh, yeah, I was a Big 12 athlete. I ran cross country. Isn't that just a different way of saying you're a competitive jogger?
I don't know, man. I don't think I could do cross country. Like if you ask me to, I see the kid when I go pick up Noah from school. I see the cross country kids from the middle school, and I couldn't do that.
But you wouldn't even want to.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think I'd try. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't even try. Like, hey, I want to try something. What do you want to try? There's a lot of sports out there. Which one would you like to play? Is there one where I can just run? Not really like sprint, like fast.
Right.
Not race. I don't want to race. I just want to run. I just want to kind of jog for a long time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even try. No. Give me a bat and a ball and a glove.
Yeah.
Give me a hoop. Of all the sports, I guess I'll do the one where you jog for 7 hours. I wouldn't even try it. So Stove's always like, well, yeah, I was a Big 12 athlete. No, you're a competitive jogger.
Okay.
All right? You're a competitive jogger.
Better than me.
Smoothies, same thing. Oh, smoothies. They're so good for you. Are they, though? Healthy sounding milkshakes. That's what I think they are for the most part. I'm not saying you can't get a healthy smoothie. I'm just saying if I put you through the drive-thru and said, order, you probably won't get a healthy smoothie. You'd probably be staring at about 1,130 calories, liquid calories.
It's true.
Healthy sounding milkshakes. Hey, the All-Star starters were announced last night. Did you see that?
I did.
Big night on TNT. No Grizzlies announced as starters. I think that was as expected. Fan vote plays a 50% role. I know none of this stuff matters that much. That's what some people say. I heard Jess and Lang and everybody talking about it this morning. I think it's crazy that fans determine this on some level.
It's insane that fans determine this.
Because I know it's just an all-star game, and it's just, but like, we quote people's resumes based off of stuff like this.
10-time All-Star, 5-time All-Star, of course.
We decide whether we want to put people in the Hall of Fame or not based on stuff like this. Well, so-and-so, he's only a 2-time All-Star. Can you get in the Hall of Fame like that? Well, so-and-so's an 8-time All-Star. Got to put him in the Hall of Fame. This stuff does matter.
Yeah.
And we just let fans decide it. And you know how much I respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not talking about all fans. But just as somebody who does rank 26 basketball teams every morning and gets comments from fans all over the country, I say this as respectfully as I can say it. Because what I'm about to say is not true of all fans. Don't ever let somebody try to tell you all fans are like this, all right? I won't stand for it. I'm not speaking broadly. I'm not painting with a brush. I don't want this to come across the wrong way.
Okay.
But oftentimes, Bennett, fans don't have any idea what they're talking about. None. I mean, the dumbest. And these are the people we are letting determine who starts in the All-Star game on some level. That's crazy to me. You could say, okay, but I don't care. And I'll go, all right, that's fine. But, like, it's crazy to me. Fans shouldn't be deciding who starts in an All-Star game.
I don't think so either. And maybe that's like old man yelling at the clouds, but I'm completely with you on this. I just don't. It seems like there would be a better way.
Like, LeBron James will retire as a whatever time All-Star starter, right? But should LeBron James be starting in the All-Star game right now, this year, at this age, on this team, with these numbers? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Mm-hmm. All right? But he is going to start, and it's largely because of fans. Mm-hmm. And I think people would tell you, some people would, he doesn't deserve to be a starter in an All-Star game in the year 2025. Team's not good enough. He hasn't been, whatever. That's at least questionable. But because fans play a role, it's not a question. He's going to start, right? Mm-hmm. Not the biggest thing in the world. Give me a list of 50 things to complain about in sports. I might not get to this, but it would be on the list somewhere. 58, 67, 114. I just think it's logically nonsensical. It's an All-Star game to celebrate, in theory, performances of the first part of the season, and it should more accurately reflect who has been doing what well. And I don't think that it does. After the starters were announced, Kenny, Charles, Shaq on TNT were all able to say, and here's who I would take as reserves. And Charles' list was kind of goofed up because some of his reserves were actually starters. But Jaren Jackson Jr. was only named a reserve by Shaquille O'Neal, not by Kenny Smith, not by Charles Barkley. That's also insane. There is no scenario where the guy who has been clearly the best player on both ends of the court for the team with the fifth best record in the NBA and third best record in the West, and by the time the All-Star game gets here, could be second best record in the West. There is no way that person is not in the All-Star game. 0% chance. I would bet everything I have in my iPad that Jaren Jackson Jr., as long as he's not hurt, is going to play in the All-Star game. And it is crazy to me that you got maybe the three biggest voices in the NBA last night on TV, and only one of the three put it out there like that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be shameful if a Grizzly...
Disgraceful.
It would be disgraceful if a Grizzly did not make the All-Star team. Mm-hmm. Again, fifth best record in the league.
Right.
Like, come on, man. That's just... that. I mean, like, whatever, but, like, people that really follow this sport and are into this, like, they roll their eyes at that. I mean, that's crazy.
He's the leading scorer on one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah.
And is also, like, was just named Defensive Player of the Month.
Yeah.
So, like, however you chop it up. What you like points per game? Do you like defensive impact? Do you like team success? However you chop it up, he's there. He makes the list. What's the Isaiah Thomas quote? I did everything you had to do to be considered for that, and he's done it all. Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be an all-star. It shouldn't even be a debate. And that was, again, not the biggest thing in the world, because though Kenny and Shaq and Charles are the biggest faces in NBA media, they're not necessarily the group on the desk that's going to make you smarter about basketball. They're going to make you laugh. They're entertaining. They're the best. But there are other places to go with if you're looking for more thoughtful, intelligent NBA conversations. And I think if you were to go to those places, they would all agree with this. Jaren Jackson Jr., as the leading scorer and best defensive player on the team that's third in the West right now, is not going to miss the All-Star game. The question we should be having in Memphis is, like, can somebody else join him? And if somebody wants to say, well, Ja hasn't played enough, I get that. But with Jaren, he checks every box. He's played enough. He's performed extremely well. Best season of his career. He'll be an All-Star reserve at the 2025 All-Star game. I'd bet Bennett's 401k on it. Back to Ja Morant. Just when I was starting to like that Grizzlies PR, they hit us again this morning.
I saw it.
They hit us again this morning. Status report update. Ja Morant questionable with an undisclosed illness. He ain't feeling so well. Something's going around.
Well, it is because
something's going around.
Yeah,
Bennett.
Santi had to leave the last game with an illness. Like they put out like the report during the game saying that he had to leave with an illness. So it's clearly something going around the locker room. So yeah, that would be. I mean, it's crazy, dude.
Keep him out of here. Keep him out of the fourth floor.
Yeah,
keep him out of here. I ain't trying to spend my weekend sick.
We have not gotten a lot. How many times, I wonder, have we gotten Ja versus Zion here in this building? Maybe once, twice? Like, it has not been much.
I mean, I was joking earlier, but there was a time where it was like, Ja in Memphis, Zion in New Orleans. This is the way the West is going to be fought for a decade. And we're doing our part. We're doing our part.
Yeah, I think so.
Where are you guys? We're doing our part. Where are you guys? New Orleans, we like you. And I know they've been through a lot down there.
Yeah, they have.
We want to root for you. Southern City, incredible culture, music, on the river, just like us. Mm-hmm. We like New Orleans, don't we?
I think so, yeah. I like New Orleans.
We've been going to New Orleans our whole lives.
Yeah.
We've been, we didn't always have the Pelicans to beat up on, but we had the Green Wave.
That's true.
We like New Orleans. But they're not doing their part.
Mm-mm.
They're not doing their part.
No, they're not.
You were supposed to take Zion. We were supposed to take Ja. And we were supposed to run the Western Conference for decades, for centuries maybe. We're trying. We're at least trying. You're not doing your part. You ain't found a J. Huff.
That's right. Yeah.
Go find you a J. Huff.
I will say CJ McCollum's averaging like 1 million points right now over these past like 5 games. And
in his career against the Grizzlies,
he averages
7
like
million.
70 points.
70 points
per
a
game against
I
the
think
Grizzlies.
That's right.
Yeah.
I need to look ESPN stats and info. I need to get them to look that up. But I think CJ McCollum is averaging 77,000 points per game against the Grizzlies.
Yeah, so got to be ready.
Still
got to be ready.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them. I just hope Ja gets, what do you think he needs? Some Advil, some Pepto? What do you think he needs?
I hope it's not that. Well, JB was talking about some like wild virus that's going around that everybody's the neurovirus.
I don't know. I'm out on viruses. I don't know about them.
I think it's like a really bad flu or something like that. We can ask her when she comes in here, but I hope it's not that.
I hope it's not that too.
I hope it's not that.
I hope he wouldn't have a really bad flu. 'Cause that'd be either way. It's the Pelicans. I ain't worried about the Pelicans. They ain't found them a J. Huff. We out here finding Scottie Pippins and J. Huffs and Yukis. What are they doing? What are you guys doing? We went and found a Yuki. What are you guys doing?
I mean, I'm cautious. I'm cautious about the game tonight.
10.5-point favorite. I ain't worried about nothing.
They only beat the Hornets by 12.
You're not going to take my confidence.
Yeah, I got you.
You're not going to take my confidence. I ain't worried about nothing. This is the Pelicans. They're not doing their part. They were supposed to take Zion. We were going to take John. Then we were going to run the Western Conference, both of us, on the Mississippi River for centuries to come. They're not doing their part. I'm disappointed in them.
I am too.
I'm disappointed in them. And I'm not being harsh. All of this is coming from a good place, right? I want good things for New Orleans, but they're not doing their part.
No. You're right. We wanted the South to run the league.
We wanted the South to be careful.
As it's coming out of my mouth.
I know.
Yeah,
you were getting a little too comfortable.
I know.
I know what you were about to say.
We want the Southern NBA cities to run the league.
You were 4 seconds away from pulling out your Colonel Reb bobblehead.
I was not. I was not. We were only. We want the Southern NBA cities.
We want the Southern NBA
league.
cities to rise again. That's what we want. We want the Southern NBA franchises to rise again. That's what we want. That's a reasonable thing to say.
Yeah.
All right? But they're not doing their part. I'm disappointed in them. I had higher expectations for them. All of this is coming from a place of love. I'm talking to New Orleans the same way I'd be talking to my kids. Like, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean I don't want good things for you. But I can't sit here and watch you do what you're doing and stay silent about it. At some point, I have to speak up. You're not doing your part, New Orleans. You were supposed to take Zion. We were supposed to take Ja. We're doing what we said we were going to do. You're not doing your part. Let's see if they can get back on track, but not tonight.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. They lose again. They're terrible everywhere, but especially away from the Smoothie King Center. Jessica Benson's up next.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzly stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
Behind the back to Jaren for the flush.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support. When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3. Yes, sir. Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Show presented by Ortho South. We're in the Built for Tough studio, and on Fridays I'm joined by Jessica Benson. She's the host of the Jessica Benson Show weekdays. Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt weekdays 8 a.m. Grind City Media, and she's popular in between breaks, just taking phone calls and having to rush people off the phone. Who wanted to talk to you so bad this morning?
Someone asking me who my PCP was, and then I didn't know. I got very flustered.
What does PCP mean?
Primary care provider.
Oh, yeah. Do we have one, don't we?
I have one. Do we have one?
I mean, I have one, I think.
I think I have one.
Who's yours?
Elite Wellness. I found one downtown, which is so convenient.
What do they do there?
But then this person was asking me if my PCP was someone else, and I don't think they were ever my PCP.
Bennett, do you have a PCP?
I'm a free agent.
You're a free agent?
Yeah, I'm a free agent. I need to probably find one. I've not been to like a routine checkup in quite some time.
Oh, what a man answer.
Okay, so Dr. Kleiman is my primary physician. He takes care of me.
Is that Kleiman is your primary physician?
No.
That's crazy.
But I go for my checkups, and he says, you need to not, your cholesterol's a little goofy. And I say, yeah, doc, I'll take care of that. But we check up.
Yeah.
I've reached the age now where, you got to do I have to do colon stuff.
I did that. It was brutal.
Okay, you had a colonoscopy?
Yeah, 2 months ago.
Okay. I have to do something different than that. Are you familiar with Cologuard?
No.
Okay, this is crazy.
Cologuard?
It's something
you getting the flags out?
It's something
I've
like
seen
that.
the commercials.
Okay.
Cologuard.
I'm now. Those commercials are now for me. Mm-hmm. So this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do at some point.
Boy.
Oh, it's way easier than a colonoscopy.
I know, but it's just weird.
You're just.
Do you know what you have to do?
It's a non-invasive stool test. Emphasis on non-invasive.
For me, the emphasis is on stool.
Have you ever had a colonoscopy?
I do these.
Okay, a colonoscopy will make you see Jesus Christ himself. Like,
I would like to.
Don't they stick a camera up your butt?
Well, yeah, you're asleep for that part.
Okay.
Or you're like under mild sedation. But like the preparation for a colonoscopy is horrific. I did my show mid-colonoscopy prep.
Ooh.
I deserve an Emmy.
I would give you one. If I had access to them, I would get you one. I have to do something else.
I see.
And my something else is just, I recognize easier, but it just feels gross, the idea of it.
I think we should talk about our poop more.
I don't know what you have to do.
You have to do a number 2 into a box and then take it to FedEx and send it off.
What? It's a poop in a box.
You mail doo-doo.
How is that, like, sanitary?
I'm not sure it is.
Well, the box is, closed.
At some point this weekend, I have to duke into a box and take it to FedEx. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
If I'm first off, God bless FedEx. I saw that they extended their long-term partnership
FedEx,
with
here
the
for the
Memphis
Grizzlies and
yeah.
here for Gary's poop.
But if I was FedEx, I might be like, should we be in this business?
I just felt weird because I've done it now a couple of times. I just felt weird walking into the store. They're like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "You're carrying a box of shit."
Yeah,
you really are. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. You're just walking around with a box of crap.
And a lot of those FedEx people do like the same routes, so like it's probably like sort of the situation. Like, oh God, we have to go to Gary's house again, and he's the dude that gives us the poop samples.
You think that's what they think about
They
me?
might.
You're the poop man.
God, I don't want to. I never wanted to be that.
It's okay.
It's not. You ever
I
get
think
to,
everyone should talk about their poop more, though.
Why do you think so?
Because it's important. Colon cancer is on the rise, or colon cancer numbers, especially in younger people. That's how I ended up getting a colonoscopy. Because now they don't mess around. If you have anything where they're like, you tell your doctor, like, oh, I think it's probably a hemorrhoid. They're like, well, you should probably go get checked, just to be on the safe side. So that's what we did.
And
Guess
you
what?
really
It's a
should. And in all seriousness, we'll get back to joking in a minute. But this stuff is important.
Oh, 1,000%.
Do you know how stupid you will feel if you go to the doctor?
Yes.
And because you've been not paying attention for 6 months.
Yes.
And they say, oh, we got terrible news.
Yeah.
And if we would have caught this earlier, it would not be as terrible.
Yes.
But now you got to die.
And that's what I told myself. But my issue was because I was not my issue. A good thing in being so young, I was like low on the priority list of getting into a colonoscopy. So I had to wait like 2 months before my doctor, or after my doctor had recommended I get one. So that's 2 months. You become like the Inspector Gadget of your poop. Like you're obsessed with everything that comes out of your body.
You speak for yourself.
No,
Jess.
I'm telling you, when you feel like there could be something wrong, you trick yourself into finding a million things wrong, and then it's not. But that's good.
I have never been obsessed with my poop.
Well, for that period in time, it's been really nice to rejoin the people who are less obsessed with that. But for like a 2-month period,
Bennett, on a scale of 1 to 7, how would you rate your level of obsession with your own poop? Jess puts hers at like a 6.
Mine's at like a.
Or these days, I'd say a 3.
Mine's at
3, but at one point you were like a 7.
I'd say a 9.
Mine's at like an 8.
Oh, so Bennett's a poop.
Yeah, like I care about it. Yeah.
Care about it how?
Like.
It's a window into your soul.
I want to be careful. I don't want to I don't want people to turn off.
I don't pay attention.
No, I think this is important.
No, I pay attention.
I'm learning stuff right now because I don't care about this as much as you guys do.
Well, I mean, I definitely like to take a peek afterwards.
I don't pay, are you a peeker too?
For that 2-month period.
Yeah, I inspect. I want to
now
see
I'm
how
like
they're
a
looking.
casual peruser. Now I'm just making sure there's nothing wild.
Am I in the minority?
This is the honest to God truth.
Trying to hang out with my poop.
They're supposed to look a certain way.
Yes.
They're supposed to look a certain way.
And there should be a regularity to them. And if you have enough irregularity, then you should probably go see your doctor. Seriously.
Well, what is my poop supposed to look like?
There's pictures on Google.
Yeah.
I was on Reddit.
Could you send me some pics in our
I was on Reddit looking at like examples of bad poop. It was a dark time in my life. I was really scared.
I cannot imagine using the internet to look at poop when there's so many other things to look at.
It's a low time, I will be honest.
Imagine all the things you could look at on the internet, and you picked poop.
I talked to my therapist about it. She told me to stop Googling.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed.
But you should kind of look at yours.
It's supposed to look.
Oh my God,
if I can get a
Bennett.
camera on me, I think it's supposed to look like this, but
That's
maybe
supposed- you think that's supposed to come out of your butt?
But maybe not this wide. But the
Maybe not that
Jesus
long.
Christ, Bennett.
the length looks good. Not this wide. But I think the length on this is good.
You're an animal.
I'm just telling you, dude. You got to inspect those things. You can't.
I eat a lot of fiber, so I'm pretty regular.
You can't just blow and go. You gotta
blow
inspect
and go.
it.
No, you can't blow and
You gotta
go.
look at that thing before you flush.
Bennett, there is no way that's consistently coming. And you just drink it. You just drink.
Drink your poop.
You just drink your own poop sample.
But it is like a fine line between being appropriately conscious so that you don't feel like a dummy by ignoring something, but also I don't think you need to be obsessively looking at
Do you
it.
think Bennett's bragging?
About his poop?
Yeah, it feels like you're bragging a little bit.
Maybe.
My wife's probably listening right now. My wife gets mad at me.
About what? You stopped the toilet set?
No, because I just like I.
What are we talking about?
Because like I've listen.
My
I've got
mom would kill me if she
I've
was
got
listening.
I've got an elite regularity. Okay.
Bennett is bragging about his bowel movements. Bennett's bragging about his bowel movements.
I'm good at it. All right.
How did you
How
get
about
good?
that?
Were you always good? Was it God-given?
Practice, concentration.
Concentration.
Yeah,
Is the
Is
concentration.
the book Everybody Poops written about you?
Yes, because the thing is like
So
it
quick.
is you got to do it, timing is everything.
But what does that even mean?
You got to be
Timing
on a
is
schedule, dude. You can't like skip it.
It is true. I'm the same time
skip
every
it.
day.
I don't skip it, but I don't have a schedule. I just go when I need to go.
No, you need a schedule,
No,
bro.
I don't. How do you get on a schedule?
You need a schedule.
I just go when
Your body actually should like know its schedule.
Yeah,
this
that's
is
it.
real.
Once you're
You
on
should
your
be-
schedule, your body's never gonna forget it.
Peter in the chat said BBB stands for Big Bowel Bennett.
That's it. I like that.
Bennett,
It's pretty good.
that's a wild thing to be coming out of your butt regularly, Bennett.
I'm just saying.
But you're proud of it. You're excited about it.
If someone sent him a box and said, "I need you to poop in this box," and then send it to FedEx, he would do it with pride.
You would like the doo-doo in a box, wouldn't you?
I mean, I'm
Do you wanna
curious
do it in
about the
my
whole
box?
thing. Yeah, can you bring me one of those boxes? Bring me one of those boxes.
Why don't
in.
you do
Yeah.
it for me?
Okay. Oh yeah, I'll get your scores up,
You'll
brother.
get my scores
Yeah,
up.
I'll get your scores up. You be
know,
good.
You know how you can call
It's
them, you see them on the internet and they're like, we can get your credit score up? Bennett can get my bowel movement score up.
Like some
damn
people
right I
use,
can.
Some people use other people's urine for various reasons, but Gary's gonna use Bennett's poop.
I'm going to use Bennett's poop because I don't want to send him my poop. I thought I had pretty average poop, but I'm way less confident in my poop
Well,
after hearing Bennett talk about it like
You're
that.
average. You ain't elite, buddy.
I'm not. I can't do that.
Anyway,
That-
serious talk.
Yeah.
If you have any irregularities with your poop, go to the doctor.
Well, I don't.
And talk to your doctor.
Okay. Is this an irregularity? I don't have any idea the next time I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. but when it
No, but if you had like
But when it-
sincere constipation on a daily basis,
No.
yeah, you should probably go to your
No,
doctor.
I don't know when I'll need to go
That's
to the
okay.
bathroom
I think
again.
that's fine.
But it could be night, could be morning.
That's fine.
And I'm just going to go, and I'm not going to study anything, and I'm just going to take a shower immediately afterwards, because I have to.
Well, we've talked about this, Gary. You have
I
some
take
tendencies.
Not joking. I take a shower.
That does not surprise me one bit.
From the bathroom to the shower immediately. It's non-negotiable. If I just took a shower an hour ago, but then suddenly this is a real thing that might happen to me, and I cannot believe we're talking about this. I can get up in the morning,
too far.
take a shower, get dressed. That's what you need to get checked out.
I already have.
Congrats on having nice bowel movements, but you cough nonstop.
Are you the reason Ja might not play tonight?
You probably did this to Ja.
No,
You probably did
I
this to
think,
Ja.
Okay, if we want to go that route, there's something going around here that I also currently have. So I hope you guys don't get sick. We're all just going to get sick here.
No, it's true. Like, I literally we're sitting up on Radio Row the last game, and everyone up there is like, I don't feel so good. I was like, Jesus.
I had like my head in the laptop. It's been a rough 48 hours.
I feel pretty good. I'm just really tired, but I feel pretty good. Like, I don't feel sick. I don't feel ill. So I hope you just stay over there, okay?
Okay.
Stay on that side
But for
of
the
things.
cough, because we know this cough has been a long and winding road. I was going to tell you, I was going to come in here today and tell you I went to an ear, nose, and throat doctor.
Good.
And I'm getting allergy testing. There's nothing wrong, so they think that I just have allergies or a hyper postnasal drip.
I have a friend who has bad allergies,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if they'd be comfortable me saying the name, so I won't say the name.
Okay.
You would know them. But they're getting shots.
Oh, see, I don't want that.
He has to take a shot like every day.
I don't want
and
that.
after a certain cycle of it, his allergies are supposed to either go away or be greatly improved. But he's literally taking shots every day to get rid of this. Like it's a lot. Like
I'd rather have
I don't
the
want to
cough.
be wrong, but it's something like
I'd rather have the cough.
it's something like
I'm serious.
30 shots or 70 shots, and it's every day for a long period or whatever. And I was like, man, that's a lot of shots just to get rid of the sniffles. But I've never had allergies. I don't have allergies. I don't struggle like you guys struggle.
Okay.
I struggle.
I don't think I do. I never thought about this cough until you and my husband don't shut up about it.
Well, it's noticeable.
Thank you.
Like you think about this. We
appreciate it.
sit and talk to each other like this
Yes.
twice a week.
Yes.
Have you ever seen me cough on the air?
I don't know.
You cough in the air every time. Every day.
It's because I have stuff.
It's because you're dying.
I'm dying.
You might be.
Well, at least it's not from colon cancer. Because I got that checked.
Yeah.
Good for you.
That's good.
Tell me how weird this is. No exaggeration. This is something that can happen to me.
Okay.
Get up, take a shower, get dressed, shoes on, the whole deal. Walking out the door, got to go to work. Got to go to the bathroom. I will go to the bathroom and I take a shower and put back on the exact same clothes, but I cannot start my day without the shower. These two things have to go. It's like peanut butter and jelly. I have to take a shower. Is that crazy?
A little bit.
Brother, you need to buy a bidet.
I got one.
Just use the bidet.
It doesn't make me feel the way it should make me feel.
I think you could talk to a therapist about
Like you
this.
actually got the bidet
Yeah.
to resolve this issue. So that I don't want to take, sometimes it's like I don't really have the time. I have been late for stuff because I have to take a second shower inside of an hour.
Second shower in an hour is wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah, I can't defend it. But you had me on the colon thing. I was like, good for him. He's
Have you
really
tried dude
trying
wipes?
here. Yeah.
There is nothing you can say that I have not tried, and nothing makes me feel the way I
Have
need
you
to feel.
tried therapy?
That's the one.
I think that
I've never talked to a therapist
psychoanalyst
about my. No, I am.
could
I
help.
am. I don't know the proper term, but I am.
You're Howard Hughes.
I don't know if that's right.
You're a little Howard Hughesy. It's okay.
That's kind of Howard Hughesy, yeah.
But I have to feel a certain way.
Have you ever seen The Aviator?
Yes.
That's him.
Yeah.
Remember the scene when he's in the
You
movie
got a
theater?
little OCD.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be okay. Okay, I heard you talk. Let's talk something else.
Okay.
Can we talk about
Other than poop?
Yes.
Can we talk about something
This
else?
has gone
I would
too
love
far.
to.
All-Star Game starters announced last night.
Poop.
Calm down. All right, calm down. Heard you and Link talking about it, and neither of you seem too bothered by the role fans play in this. And I'm not too bothered because, like, you know, there's
other things to be bothered.
Yes, like I don't know.
It's
if
only
I don't know if you've been watching the news.
It's been a week.
There's other things to be bothered by. So I'm not that bothered.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to do a 20-minute monologue on it.
Yeah.
I do think it's wrong. How about that? I'll just
Okay.
say wrong. That fans play such a significant role in picking who starts in the All-Star game because we can say it doesn't matter. It's just an All-Star game. But we do quote people's resumes as
Yes.
we are holding them up as an all-time great, or should they have their jersey retired, or should they get a statue? Do they go in the Hall of Fame? What you will hear as people are talking about Steph Curry or anybody else we ever have this conversation with, at some point you'll get to, and he started 8 All-Star games. He
Yeah.
started 4 All-Star games. Like these are things that we quote as achievements, and they're not always actual valid achievements.
Do you think that will lessen? I also think we exist in a period in time where all-star games in general,
Right.
not just in the NBA, but as a kid, I was obsessed with Major League Baseball's all-star game. And now I really don't care.
Right.
And the same thing really went for the NBA all-star game as well. And now what used to symbolize like a check-in of the best in the league at the moment doesn't really do the same thing that it once did. So I'm genuinely curious if over the next decade we will care less about somebody's all-star accolades when it comes to rounding out legacy conversations and where they stand on different Mount Rushmores or whatnot.
Perhaps. And listen, I might be the only one who cares about this.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to turn it into a big deal. But I can just tell you, I sit in studio the other night, and it's like Adam Zucker's our host, and it's like in former NBA All-Star Wally Zerbiak, former NBA All-Star Roy Hibbert. And like this is the way they get introduced. This is part of their introduction. And if it was 7-time All-Star Roy Hibbert, you'd probably say 7-time All-Star Roy Hibbert.
Yeah.
Like these things do become attached to you, and
It's
they
also
seem
just an easy way to designate importance.
right.
Because a throwaway.
Yeah,
It's not a throwaway. That's not the right way.
It just
to say
sounds big. It makes you sound bigger. It's just like Golden Globe nominee or Oscar winner. Like, once you become
These things do matter.
Once you become Oscar winner,
yes,
every movie you are in for the rest of your life, it will say Oscar winner. And starring Oscar winner. These things, like labels, do matter.
Yeah.
I don't think fans should play a role in making these labels. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's a thing that I don't think is done right.
I think that's fair.
Last night, they start talking through the reserves.
Yes.
Kenny's got his team. Shaq's got his team. Charles got his team.
Yes.
Only one of them had Jaren Jackson Jr. as a reserve.
Insane.
There's just no scenario where if healthy Jaren Jackson Jr. is not in that All-Star game. He has been the best player on this team this season on both ends of the court, and this team has the 5th best record in the NBA and 3rd best record in the West. That player's not getting left out of this game. That's insane.
There is no way to explain a world where he doesn't get it without starting to think, like, why do people overlook Jaren Jackson Jr. at this point in his career? And it's, I guess, because his game isn't as sexy.
Well, I heard you guys talking about this last night,
but
and I just sort of, because I had the same thought about Cooper Flagg earlier in the year. Like, why are more people not talking about Cooper Flagg? He's awesome. And it's like, well, where's the highlight?
Yeah.
Now he's starting to get them. But I heard you and Ling talking about this morning. With Jaren, there aren't a lot of, oh, wow, did you see that?
Well, and I'll be honest, because as people know, like, I cut highlights following Grizzlies wins.
Sure.
So I am trying to figure out the best highlights from a game. And usually Jaren's are narrative-based, not flashy, like, oh, that's going to drive clicks. It's all about Jaren
catch the ball at the
context.
elbow.
Here's 20 seconds of Jaren catching the ball at the elbow and taking advantage of a mismatch yet again.
That's right.
Over
And then
again.
it's like next highlight, it's a step in 3.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So there might be something to that. But
that doesn't take away from the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. is clearly playing at an if we're going to say so-and-so player is playing at an all-star level this year, well, that's what Jaren Jackson Jr. has done. And I was surprised for him to only, it was interesting because I guess sometimes I'm not a pessimist, I'm an optimist, which is a strange thing when I put in this caveat. I like to warn myself against bad things that'll happen. Like, I'll be like, well, what if this happened? And then I'll start thinking through it to prepare myself. If it does happen,
that's a terrible habit.
It's horrible.
And I do the same
thing.
thing.
I work on it
regularly. Do you know, somebody told me this once, and I think you probably see it on the Instagram post, right? But like 95% of the stuff you spend your time worrying about
never happens.
Never happens. Do you know how often I have imaginary arguments with people?
I was just going to say, imaginary conversations are my specialty.
I run through the whole thing.
I could write Academy Award at least nominated, possibly winning dialogue.
I'll be getting
with the fake conversations.
I'll be getting ready to go to Big Ten Media Day.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right, I haven't talked to this coach in a while. Last time I talked to him, we didn't have the best conversation. I'm going to bump into him. And if he says this, then I'm going to say this.
I'm going to hit him back with this.
And if he tries to go there, then I'm going to go here. And I got all this stuff in my head. And I'm like, I know exactly how I'm going to handle this situation. And then I walk into Big Ten Media Day, and I see the coach. You know what happens?
Hi.
GP, what's up?
Yeah.
Nothing. That's it. Hey, good to see you. And we're done.
But in the case where I had already done this exercise, when I'm thinking, surely Jaren Jackson Jr. will not get left out of being an all-star this year. But I started running through the scenarios where, okay, well, if you look at the starters who are going to get out of the pool from the West, it's likely going to be LeBron and Kevin Durant. We'll call them legacy votes at this point. Victor Wembanyama eventually is going to move in there. Nikola Jokic, you can't leave Nikola Jokic out. He's absolutely earned that. But then you get Wemby. Then you get Anthony Davis. Then you do have a Rockets team that still is in front of the Grizzlies. And could Alper and Şengün, and who pops up on one of those lists yesterday? But Alper and Şengün. So by the time we get to it, Chris is sitting next to me, and he is incredulous that Jaren Jackson Jr. is not on every single one of these lists. And I'm sitting there saying, well, let me tell you what I thought could happen because it just played out. But it is crazy. It is also such a reminder. I know that crew sometimes gets knocked, and one of them last night even said, I haven't watched a single Hornets game all season because they were talking about LaMelo not getting to be one of the starters. It is hard to watch everyone everywhere all at once. But it is such a testament to some of the things that get missed because they don't. Because again, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the leading scorer for the leading scoring offense in the NBA for a team that is a half game out of second in the Western Conference.
That's right.
Now.
And like LaMelo he's the type of person I think should get left off of this if you leave people off of it. Congrats, you got nice highlights, but you're doing empty stats for a bad team. Like I can just tell you when I start looking at All-American teams in college basketball, if you play for a bad team, unless you are a statistical monster, if you play for a bad team, I don't even look at you.
Yes.
I don't even look at you. It's like one of these ESPN announcers used to do a lot of Memphis games, does a lot of AAC games. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is it Mark Adams? Is that his name? Is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, like, nice guy. I'm not, but had a tweet a few weeks ago talking about UAB's players should be in the National Player of the Year conversation. I mean, what?
Yeah.
What? No.
I saw that tweet.
What? No, it won't even make a top 20 list. Great college basketball player. But when you're on a team like that, in a league like that, you better be P.J. Haggerty. P.J. Haggerty can be an All-American. Great numbers for a good team with a number beside his name. But if you're on a bad team, I don't even look at you.
Right.
And so
Similar things can happen.
I don't mind multiple Rockets being represented, but and I'm not saying leave LaMelo out of it. I'm just saying that.
Who was the other? I took a picture of it.
I'm more willing to dismiss good stats for bad teams than I am good players on good teams. I want to reward.
Sabonis was the other one that I thought. Again, was shocked to find out Sabonis is second in three-point shooting percentage this season. Jokic is first. So you have two bigs. But yeah, Chuck had Wemby, Sabonis, AD, Norman Powell.
Yeah, the truth is, Jaren should have been on all three of those lists. It would have been more sensible for Jaren to be on everybody's list than for him to only be on one.
Yes.
He checks all the boxes you need to check to be an all-star, and he will be. Yes. Charles Kinney and Shaq aren't in charge.
No.
People who...
A coach will likely
Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be an all-star. Let's talk tonight real quick. 7 o'clock tip. Pelicans are in town. We joked Ja has been updated on the status report to questionable with an illness. Regardless, the Grizzlies should knock this out. The Pelicans aren't good. They're terrible away from home. They're banged up as well. As I've said a million times, all these games count the same. You got 29 wins now. Stack them up while you can.
Stack them up while you can. Next week is a lot harder.
You're right.
Two All-Stars who were just named last night.
Right.
Jalen Brunson and Carl Anthony Towns.
In the Garden.
They are going to be in the Garden on Monday.
I'm going.
You get that Rockets team again.
You're going?
Wait,
Yeah,
you're going?
Well, I'm going to be in New York anyway.
Oh, how exciting.
I think Vernon's going too.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're all going?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it is cute.
Bennett, what are we doing?
Come on. You know I don't leave this room.
I'm going to Madison Square Garden on Monday night. I'm going to go see the Grizz on Monday night. They have a They have a nightclub in the Garden. Tao nightclub.
There's a Tao in
the Garden. That's where I'm going. Going to Tao.
Get the spicy tuna, crispy rice.
Wally Zerbiak's got the passes to Tao nightclub inside the
cool.
Garden.
Nice.
Humble brag.
So we're going to the nightclub on Monday night. I'm
That's
going to the
very
club on Monday
cool.
night. I don't know what you're doing on Monday night, but I'll be at the club.
Yeah, I will say we did, with the jaw thing, bummer that he's questionable.
Right.
And we did just see Santi Aldama leave that game.
Yeah.
Like if something like that starts going through it, there's a ton of random.
Oh, Illinois lost a game last night at home.
sicknesses
It's in all aspects.
flying. I just had a friend get norovirus in New York, so watch out when
I
you're
am
at Tao
watching it.
nightclub at
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden.
I might wear a mask.
Oh, buddy.
Might put a mask on.
I don't know if that helps you with norovirus.
Oh, well.
But you get something like that.
Yeah.
COVID, flu,
Yeah.
RSV, it's everywhere.
Well, like Illinois, it's everywhere and at all levels of the sport. Illinois lost a game last night. Might have lost anyway, but the second leading scorer and leading rebounder was sick. Same type of thing. Just sick. Not hurt. Just doesn't feel well. Yeah, sick. Yeah. And so now we're dealing with that here, and Ja is the centerpiece of it. We'll see. I hope he plays because I always hope he plays.
Me too.
But if he doesn't, you know what we'll do? Just smack the Pelicans around anyway.
Yeah, give me point guard Luke Kennard.
Point guard Luke Kennard. Fine with me.
Point Kennard.
Point Kennard. 7 o'clock tip. Tickets available, Grizzlies.com. Hey, I hope you have a great rest of your day. You got some dogs to walk?
I do.
All right.
I'm going to go walk them.
All right. Well, you go walk
Then
those
I'm
dogs.
going to sleep for like 5 hours.
Buddy, I cannot wait to go to sleep.
And then I'll be back here.
I cannot wait to go to sleep today. I'll see you later.
I'll see ya.
That's Jessica Benson. She'll be back in the big studio 8 o'clock on Monday morning. When we come back, turn our attention. Tiger basketball. Memphis beat Wichita State inside FedEx Forum last night. It wasn't a beautiful game. It wasn't their best performance, but it was a win. And a win's not a loss, and a win's not a bad loss, and that's what we were trying to avoid. So it's a nice night for Penny's team. We'll talk about it next. Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing at FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati. Look for their secrets. Run back. Tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Final score inside FedEx Forum. Number 24, Memphis 61, Wichita State 53. The Tigers trailed for much of this game. Did you get nervous at all, Bennett? I felt bad last night because I spent yesterday telling you, don't be nervous. These aren't Greg Marshall Shockers. And then the Tigers were down for much of the game, rallied. That might be putting it a little too strongly. Did enough down the stretch to pull away and not make the final minutes be too stressful. 61-53. Tigers are now 15-4 overall, 5-1 in the AAC. Did you get nervous last night, Bennett?
Yes, I did. Evidence being I had to stand up off the couch the last 2 minutes of the game. Or I guess it wasn't 2 minutes. It was 4 minutes.
Yeah, by the time we got to the final seconds, we were good. It was done.
Yeah, and I said I was nervous yesterday. I just, Thursday night game against a bad team. I was wondering how the crowd would be. It wasn't great.
Not great?
No, not great. And so you just wonder about, how much can they get up for this type of game. And, look, the turnovers are obviously a problem, right? Like it's been a problem the past couple games, but they're winning games. Keep winning games. Don't slip up. Don't get that bad loss on your resume. Because like, what's the worst loss on their resume right now?
Arkansas State, quad 3,
and they actually are playing well. Like I watched them win after the Memphis game. Like they're like 15-5. So like
Arkansas State is 93rd in the net right now, and if you dropped them into the American, that would make them the 3rd best team in the league.
Yeah, so you know, if they keep winning, like your resume's probably not going to have any really bad losses on it, and so just don't suffer one of those in the AAC. You avoided it last night. You know, UAB's playing better, but you don't want to take that loss at home. I don't care how well they're playing right now.
No, like you got the Arkansas State loss at home.
Yeah.
At Temple is another not great loss,
Sure.
but at Temple is quad 2, whereas home to Arkansas State's quad 3. Arkansas State would need to get all the way up to 75 for that to flip into a quad 2. They're not that far from it. You know, they are at 93, so it's possible
It's close,
they could get there. Either way, I think the committee, their job is not just to look at this stuff and say that's a quad 3 loss and all quad 3 losses are the same. Their job is to dive in and say, okay, there's a quad 3 loss here. What is that? And what you would hope is they would say, well, that's a loss to a pretty good Arkansas State team that ended up winning its conference and is going to be in the NCAA tournament. Quad 3 doesn't sound great, but it's a pretty good basketball team they happen to lose to on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, for sure. Man, yeah, you know, the one thing, like again, I don't want to like nitpick it last night, whatever. Like they turned the ball over a lot, but they ended up winning the game. They didn't play well. Penny said after the game he's got to, something along the lines of he's got to coach him better. You know, I will say, if I was to make any criticisms, man, the bigs on this team, they all serve like an important purpose on this team, all three of them, but like they're all pretty one-dimensional.
Right.
Danja, Musa, and Nick Jourdain. I don't know if I would start two bigs anymore. I think this team could run teams out of the gym in the AAC if they just went like 4 guards and just up and down the floor.
Right.
Like I mean, they you saw a little bit last night when they put PJ Carter in. Like, I don't know. That's just if I'm making any nitpicks.
Well, like sort of where I'm at with this team is I'll start being critical again when the losses start to stack up. But I'm not going to complain about a little bit like the Grizzlies. I see people complaining about little stuff. And I'm more interested in looking at the forest, not the trees, right? I want to see the forest, not the trees. The forest with the Grizzlies right now, say whatever you want about rotations, playing time, training staff, anything you want to talk about. They have the 5th best record in the NBA, the 3rd best record in the West, and Ja Morant has missed a lot of games. I'm not complaining about that. The Tigers, sort of the same thing. Unranked in the preseason. Brought back one player. One.
That's true.
They're 15-4. 2 of the losses are, totally understandable losses to highly ranked teams. Auburn and Mississippi State. The other 2 losses are not great, but just about everybody in the country's got losses like that at this point. Maybe not the quad 3 thing, but Temple just around the top 100 of the net. Arkansas State just on the good side of it a little bit. Good teams lose to teams like that. There's nothing really too bad about Memphis' resume right now. And until there is, I'm not going to spend 10 minutes talking about turnovers or shot selection or rotations. It's a good basketball team that is overachieving relative to any reasonable preseason expectation. And so I'm not going to nitpick Penny Hardaway on this stuff. When things go bad, or if they go bad, I hope they don't, then we'll be right back to talking about the things we need to talk about, like we do every day.
Yeah.
But right now, things are going pretty well.
They are. I want them to get back to what they looked like in that non-conference schedule. I think that I think the eye test just tells you they don't look as good as they did in that non-conference schedule. And I just want them to be playing great basketball as we get closer to the tournament.
Yeah. And, and there's still a while before we get there.
Yep.
So as long as they're not stacking losses or taking bad losses, I'll keep the criticisms to a minimum. I think. But obviously, by the time we get to March and you're getting ready to go into that bracket, you want to be a little sharper than they were last night. You mentioned the crowd real quick. It looked bad on TV.
Yeah, it
and
did.
This is the thing we've talked about before. Wichita State's not good, but that's a name. That's a brand, right? Wichita State, that means something in college basketball. Memphis got a number next to its name. So you got a nationally ranked team being coached by a Memphis legend against a brand inside FedEx Forum, and nobody was there. And that's the problem you're going to continue to run into in the AAC. We talked about it in football. We talked about it in basketball. Once upon a time, Memphis fans could convince themselves that, well, when we're good, people show up. Because under John Calipari, kind of did.
That's right.
It's not true anymore. You were just very good at football, and people didn't show up. You're very good at basketball, and people aren't showing up. So you can't, well, if we're good, people aren't showing up when you're good. What's going to happen when you're not? All right? This is the league you're in. It's the 11th best league in the country, according to the net. It's worse than CUSA, worse than the Atlantic 10. You don't have comparable athletic departments in your league. And so you're playing programs consistently that your fans don't care about, don't respect. And clearly, people are just deciding, I'll watch this one on TV if I watch it at all. I don't know if you saw this quote from Mark Few last week. Gonzaga went and played at Oregon State because they've got a scheduling agreement now, Oregon State and Washington State as the leftover Pac-12 teams, and they just sort of connected with the WCC to, they're in that league now.
Yeah, gotcha.
What's interesting is that then those schools are now partnering with Gonzaga and going back to the Pac-12.
That's
so the
right.
WCC was kind of like, hey, yeah, come on over to our house. We got room for you. And they're like, all right, we're going to stay here for a couple of years, but then we're out, and we're taking Gonzaga with us. So that was sort of a theme of that. Like, this is a preview of the new Pac-12. I don't know if you watched it. It looked great.
Yeah.
The building was great, and the game was fabulous. Gonzaga lost. And afterwards, Mark was talking about it, and he said, you don't like to lose, but my God, this felt like a real basketball game. The crowd was great. And he said, what I love most, he said, I'm not trying to bash the WCC, but what I most love about this new Pac-12 that we're going to be in is we are going to be competing against comparable athletic departments. He didn't say basketball programs. He said athletic departments. Like Oregon State's a real athletic department.
Yep.
Washington State is a real athletic department. Rice isn't. All right? And so this is what Mark Few said. Why are we going to the Pac-12? We might not win as much as we've been winning the WCC, but we're going to be in a league like with real athletic departments. And we're going to be playing games that look like this. And so this new Pac-12, just turn on the TV and watch these teams, not the quality of the team. Just look around the building. You turn on a San Diego State game, it looks like a real college basketball game. You turn on a Utah State game, it looks like an incredible college basketball game. You turn on Oregon State last week, obviously Gonzaga. And so this was part of my argument when we were discussing conference realignment and whether Memphis should accept an invitation to join the new Pac-12. I understand the money issues. But you do that, and suddenly you trade in these games that nobody cares about. You get 2 games with Gonzaga. You get 2 games with San Diego State. You get 2 games with Oregon State. You get 2 games with Utah State. Suddenly, just add it up. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Now I just told you, just off the top of my head, I just gave you 8 games on your 18-game conference schedule that your fans can look forward to, that when they turn on the television, it'll look like a real game. And that it'll be like, oh, wow, Utah State. Well, Utah State was ranked as recently as last week. Oh, here comes nationally ranked Utah State into the building. Oh, here comes San Diego State. They were in a national championship game. They're in our building tonight. Oh, Gonzaga was just in 2 national championship games. They're in our building tonight. You don't have that in this league, and it's starting to show up with ticket sales and attendance. You had a good football team. People didn't want to go watch them play against that schedule. You've got a good basketball team. It doesn't look like people want to go watch them play against the schedule. This is going to be a forever problem until it's resolved.
Yeah, and the thing is you're not that far removed from, like, when the league was better, people, like, for instance, those Houston games, when they came into town, building was packed, right? And Memphis wasn't ranked, you know? Like, it goes because one of the arguments that I see people say is, well, why, you can run through this league. Like, you have this easy path to the NCAA tournament or to the college football playoff in this league that you can just run through. But it doesn't matter if people don't care. It doesn't matter if people don't care. And we have seen it as recently as before those schools left this league, Houston, Cincinnati, SMU, UCF, people were going to see a higher level of competition, even when the Tigers weren't ranked. Right. So, I'm not buying that people won't go if the level of competition goes up. And they will go.
And this is the part where somebody will always jump into the chat and say something like, well, Memphis fans don't care about San Diego State and Utah State and Oregon State and whatever. And I hear you. I've never tried to say the new Pac-12 is the ACC. Like, if you can get into the ACC, do that. Yeah. If you get into the Big 12, do that. You can't. Or at least there's no indication that you can. So I've never tried to tell you the Pac-12 is the Big 12 or the ACC or any power conference, but it would be so undeniably better than where you're at right now. It would give games that matter and place them on your schedule. Right now, you don't have that. I mean, Memphis is playing games that matter. Obviously, they matter, but people don't care.
Yeah.
Penny Hardaway is coaching a nationally ranked team right now. He coached it last night in FedEx Forum. People didn't want to go. This is the issue with being in this league, and as long as you're in this league, this is going to be something that you're dealing with. We can all talk about the games and watch them, but how do you get people off their couches into the building spending real money? You need a more compelling league schedule, and the AAC is not going to provide that for you.
Number 2.
Can I tell you a story? You got a minute?
I like stories.
Let me tell you a story. So, several months back at this point, I was down in Oxford. You might remember I went down there to speak to a journalism class. While I was there, I decided to pop over to the Ole Miss basketball practice facility and spend some time with Chris Beard and his staff and watch practice. And I think we talked about that when I came back. And I told you I thought they were going to be pretty good, and they are pretty good. When I was down there, we're talking about a million different things. And at some point, I'm sitting in Chris's office, and he says something along the lines of like Jaemyn and Brandon. And Brandon didn't immediately pop out of my, I go, who's Brandon? And so then he goes, oh, that's like Jaemin's little brother almost, kind of. And I was like, what? And so we start talking. What I find out is, for people who are unfamiliar, Jaemyn is Jaemyn Brakefield. He has been a starter at Ole Miss since arriving at Ole Miss. Was a 5-star prospect coming out of high school and signed with Duke, Mike Krzyzewski. Went to Duke, played a season, transferred to Ole Miss. He's been starting there. Coming off the bench this season as their 6th man. He might be 6th man of the year in the country if they hand out an award like that. He's averaging double figures for a nationally ranked Ole Miss team. So the story is this. I started asking questions, and this is what I learned. Jaemyn Brakefield was born in Wisconsin, grew up in Wisconsin. When you watch an Ole Miss basketball game, you might hear them say, and he's from Mississippi because he did eventually move to Mississippi. But he was born in Wisconsin. A single mother. And, he had some older siblings. His mother had her first child when she was 13 years old. He has an older brother who's 15 years older than him. Dad lived out of state. So mom was in Wisconsin and dad was in Mississippi. And he didn't have strong father presence in his home. And his older brother, Andrew, who went on to serve our country. He served in Iraq. He's a veteran. And best I can tell, has been a real inspiration for Jaemyn. Jaemyn didn't have his father in his life his whole time, but he had his older brother. And he looked up to him, and that's who he played basketball with, threw the football with. Just, they had a real relationship. Eventually, Jaemyn moved to Mississippi to be with his dad, and then moved to Huntington, West Virginia to go to prep school at Huntington Prep. It's the same prep school that Andrew Wiggins went to, Keldon Johnson, several NBA players. Jaemyn gets invited to join Huntington Prep. He moves to Huntington Prep. So at this point, he's 14, 15 years old, in that range. And his life experience has basically been this. He lives in Wisconsin with his mom, kinda. Lives in Mississippi with his dad, kinda. Bounces from friend's house to friend's house a little bit. And then eventually ends up in Huntington, West Virginia without either parent playing basketball. Living away from both parents his entire high school career. This is his life. Well, while he was at Huntington, West Virginia, there's a little guy always around named Brandon. At the time when Jaemyn got there, Brandon was like 8 years old. And Jaemyn was like 14, 15. And Brandon is the nephew of the head coach at Huntington Prep. And he was just always around the gym at practices and stuff, and kind of like the team mascot, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knew him and dapped him up and, made him feel like he was a part of it. Well, Jaemyn just sort of took a liking in him and frankly saw a lot of himself in Brandon. They both grew up in single-parent homes. They both grew up with their fathers living out of the state in which they lived. They both had a lot of siblings. And they both maybe weren't getting the best guidance at home at one point in their life. Without getting too personal, neither one of them had the easiest early childhood. And so Jaemyn would just sort of took an interest in it. Hey man, you want to get some shots up? Hey, you want to throw a football? All right, jump on PS5 tonight. We'll play Fortnite. Well, eventually you graduate from high school. He went to Duke, and Brandon was left in Huntington, West Virginia with his mother. And Jaemyn was determined to keep in touch, to keep checking in, because at this point he had become something of a mentor to this young man. But you know how this stuff goes. Hey, yeah, man, I'll call you next week. And then you do that. And it's like, all right, we'll talk again next week. And then you skip a week, and then you skip a month, and then you ain't talked in 4 months, and then you haven't talked in 2 years. This is the way life goes. Think about it in your own life, Bennett. How many people do you see, you used to be close, whatever, and it's like, oh, yeah, we'll get together sometime, and then it doesn't happen. That's the way these things typically go. Not for Jaemyn, though. Went to Duke, kept in touch with Brandon, kept checking in, kept making sure he was trying to do the right thing in school. Hey, your grades all right? You brushing your teeth every morning? From a distance, but still trying to just show him somebody's thinking about you. Jaemyn plays 1 year at Duke, transfers to Ole Miss. When he started college, there were rules in place where if he took $10 from Mike Krzyzewski, it's a major violation. As he sits in college now as a fifth-year player, NIL is available. And he has a pretty lucrative NIL deal at Ole Miss. After last season, he's graduated. He didn't have to come back to school. He was weighing his options, professional options, transfer, everything. And when you have that kind of leverage, you can negotiate, and he negotiated a pretty nice NIL deal with Ole Miss. And so NIL is something we all talk about all the time. And coaches whisper about it, fans yell about it. Some insist that it's ruined college athletics. And I acknowledge, and this is sort of the way I start the story, at CBS Sports.com, I acknowledge there's some issues with name, image, and likeness. It's not a perfect system, and there's some, it's not all great. There's a better way to do it. We need some more structure to it. But anybody out there talking about it's just ruining this and ruining that, you need to know this story. Because when Jaemyn secured, let's just say a 6-figure deal at Ole Miss to play basketball this year, he got an idea in his head. As Brandon was back in Huntington, West Virginia, again, without getting too personal, just things not going perfectly, right? And I talked to Brandon. And he told me in West Virginia is it's not a great situation. A lot of bad stuff to get into. And he wasn't maybe walking a straight line as well as he should have been. He'd put on a lot of weight, got a little heavy as a teenager. And Jaemyn saw this from a distance, and an idea popped in his head. He said, you know what, I got this a lot of money right now. More money than I've ever had. More money than most college people have. I guess I could go buy a car or a house and nice stuff. Or I could use this money, try to do something. And so here's his idea. Brandon, why don't you move to Oxford? Why don't you move from West Virginia to Oxford? Live with me. I'll raise you. I'll get you through high school. I'll change your life. And that's what he did. He moved this young man to Oxford with the blessing of the parents, of course. And now Brandon and Jaemyn are living together in a 2-story house in Oxford. He's a 24-year-old college student, a double-digit scorer for a nationally ranked team. And he gets up every morning at 7 and cooks breakfast, makes sure the homework's done, takes him to school, drops him off. At 3:45, picks him up at school. Brandon told me when he gets into the car after school, first thing Jaemyn says is, how was your day? And do you have any homework? Same questions every day. And that sounds like nothing. But you know who that's not nothing to? A kid who isn't used to hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
This 16-year-old kid, it almost like made me get, you should just see his face light up when I asked him, so what's it like to have somebody ask you how your day was? He's like, man, you don't know how that makes a person feel. The implication was he hadn't heard that a lot. It just meant something for him to hear. I pick my boys up from school every day I can when I'm in town, and that's the first thing I say. How's your day, bud? How was your day? Did you have a good day? Tell me the best part. What's the best thing that happened today? It's a pretty normal thing for a lot of people, but you forget that there are kids out there who don't have that. They don't have a mom or a dad asking them how things going, if you can help you with anything. Brandon didn't have that the way that he needed it. Maybe that's the most polite way to put it. And Jaemyn decided I can be that person. I've got this money from NIL, and I can change this young person's life. Brandon's lost 50 pounds since he's moved to Oxford. 16 years old, he's lost 50 pounds since May just by changing his eating habits, by being in the gym. He's at Ole Miss practices all the time. He knows all the coaches. He knows all the players. He's like a part of their team, the same way he used to be a part at Huntington Prep. And so I just was blown away by the maturity it takes to do something like this. At 24 years old, I couldn't do it. I told him that. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't even want to try. I'm too selfish, right? And yet here he is, 24 years old. He's got a lot of money. He's living in one of the great college towns in this country. He's got a lot of things he could be doing that run counter to raising a teenager who isn't yours. But he's decided, my brother was there for me when I needed a strong male role model in my life. These are his words, not mine. Why wouldn't I pay it forward? Why wouldn't I be that for somebody else? And it's funny, I sort of end the column. It's interesting when you ask questions and you think you know where the answers are going to come from, and then you just get an answer that you didn't even consider these would be the words that you hear. So I asked him at some point, I was like, man, like you're in a master's program, you're playing in an SEC schedule, you got pro basketball aspirations, you got a lot going on. Do you ever regret this? Do you ever regret doing this? Obviously you're doing a great thing. You're changing a young person's life. But do you ever regret it? And what I expected was like, well, there are days when, woo. Isn't that the most natural thing to say? Well, there are days where I'm just overwhelmed, lost a basketball game, and rather than go home and get some rest or get in the gym and get some shots up, I got to go do homework with a junior in high school. Yeah, man, there are days where I wonder, what did I get myself into? That's what I thought I would hear. You know what he said? I said, do you ever have any regrets? And he said, yeah, I do. I said, okay, here we go. Here we go. This is interesting. And you know what he said? You know what my regret is? I said, what? He said, I regret not doing this sooner. I regret not doing it earlier. Couldn't do it earlier. Didn't have the money to do it earlier. I asked him point blank, could you do this without NIL? No chance. No chance. I am able to do this because of NIL and only because of NIL. So next time you see somebody on Facebook or Twitter, wherever people express opinions, ranting and raving about how NIL has destroyed college athletics, just know that that's not entirely true. Has it complicated college athletics in some ways? Sure. Has it disrupted college athletics in a lot of ways? Absolutely. But it's also done some good. It's doing some good in Oxford, Mississippi. There's a 16-year-old right now at Oxford High who's had his life changed positively in a dramatic way, and it is only possible because the NCAA finally allowed college athletes to take whatever money somebody's willing to give them. You can find the story. It'll be up a little later on today, CBSSports.com.
Number 3.
Interesting quote from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Did you see this? about the?
What do you say?
The Bucks have had some crazy travel schedules and weather and road games and this and that. And it was one of those questions where, if you ask Mick Cronin at UCLA about it, he'll rant for 3 minutes. Mick was just complaining. I think it was earlier this week. Somebody in a UCLA press conference was asking about travel, and Mick's like, "I'm the coach at UCLA, and I've seen the Statue of Liberty twice in the past 3 weeks." And it was funny, but he was angry, or at least frustrated. He's like, "I'm the coach at UCLA. I've seen the Statue of Liberty twice and the Capitol. Why? That's crazy. I'm the coach at UCLA. Hates the travel." So Giannis was asked about it. Here's what he said. "This is not the toughest conditions that I've played basketball. The only difference is that we had to take a flight. At the end of the day, if you call this adversity, I think the team responded very well facing this adversity that we had to take a flight for 2 hours before the game. At the end of the day, we still woke up in a 5-star hotel, had breakfast, sat down as a team, talked as a team while we were waiting for the bus. We had a pretty nice bus ride. We went to our plane, a charter plane, a private plane. Everybody has their own seat. You can order some food on the plane, get some fruit if you want. They have drinks too. After that, your cars are warm and right there on the runway waiting for you. It's not that bad."
I love it.
You just need every once in a while to remind yourself to shut up.
Yeah.
Myself included.
Yeah.
I find myself complaining all the time about stuff that, man, my life's not that bad. I got it pretty good. Like, I've got a dead car in the parking garage.
Oh, that's right.
And that sucks, right? But, like, my life's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this is what Giannis was trying to say. Yes, the travel was complicated. We're still on charter planes and 5-star hotels. Who's complaining?
Yeah, man. He's one of my favorite players in the league. And just, like, because he says thoughtful things like this, and I respect it. Like, there was one of them that's really famous from him because it got recycled because of Lamar losing in the playoffs last week, and people saying, well, was it a failure of a season for Lamar because he didn't make it the Super Bowl? And it was that quote from Giannis when he's kind of going back and forth with the reporter because the reporter asked him, did you view this season as a failure because you guys didn't?
And then he says, Michael Jordan played how many years? And the guy says, like, whatever. And he's like, how many championships? And he's like, 6. And he's like, so were the other 13 or whatever? Were those all failures? Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, and he even, like, put it back. He was like, did you get a promotion this year? And then he was like, no, okay, are you a failure because you didn't get a promotion this year? And when you think about it, it's like, man, that's a good way to look at things, especially for an NBA player. Like, I mean, all these teams that are great teams, and like we look at it through a Grizzlies prism. Like, we've had so much fun over the years with this franchise, and we've never won a championship. We've never gotten that close. We went to the Western Conference Finals once, but like, we've had some amazing times, and so I respect his views on a lot of things.
He seems to often bring levity to situations. Yeah. When people are like, so how bad was the travel? He's the guy who says, not that bad at all. A little different than it usually is, but still, like, pretty great. Yeah. You should see where I came from. This is pretty amazing. Yeah. And it's like, well, you got eliminated from the playoffs. Are you going to go kill yourself? No, I'm upset now because we lost. I wanted to win. We can't win every year. Nobody does. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just like, we'll come back next year and try it again. But I'm not going to, what do you want me to do? I have held the trophy. I want to hold it again. But, like, I'm not going to enter a facility every time I don't. That seems to be what you want me to do. He just seems to have it pretty leveled out in his head. He knows who he is. He seems to know what's important and what isn't. And, like, if you want your kids to look up to athletes, he seems like a pretty good one. Mm-hmm. I like that my kids like Giannis Antetokounmpo because he seems like a perfectly reasonable person to look up to. At least the quotes are always good. In these moments where he could join the chorus of, this is really, he just always says, we got it pretty good. Yep. We got it pretty good. Things aren't that bad. He's excellent, and that quote was just another example of it.
Number 4.
Pete Carroll's back in the NFL.
How about that?
He's going to coach the Raiders, 3-year deal.
Okay.
He's the oldest coach in the NFL now, officially. He's 73 years old.
He looks good for a 73-year-old.
Pete Carroll is a good-looking man.
Yeah, like that's I would not, if I just saw that guy and you were like, how old is he? I'd be like, he might be in his 60s. Yeah.
like a good-looking old man.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I'll see a good-looking old man, and I'm like, that's the way I would like to look when I'm old. And then I go, I don't even look that good now, so how the hell am I going to look like that when I'm his age? But a sharp-looking old man,
it is
like a
true.
fit, sharp-looking old man. I like a good, sharp-looking.
I respect the hell out of that, too.
I respect a fit, good-looking old man.
Yeah, I respect that, too.
Pete Carroll's one of them.
Yeah, I aspire to be that.
Pete Carroll could steal your wife. Not yours.
No, not mine, but
just
somebody's.
Like somebody's.
Yeah, I think that's true.
I think he probably has.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
But there was that one story. You hear that one story one time when he was at USC, and somebody was talking about something, and somebody was like, what do we care? It was some sort of off the field, off the court type of controversy with coaches or something. I don't remember the content, but I just remember somebody on in a very public way. It wasn't like a whisper. They were like, Pete Carroll's got a place in Malibu that he hooks. Like,
what do you want me to do?
Yeah, it was one of those. Like, everybody knows Pete Carroll's got a place in Malibu. Like, a little, like Steve McNair had his little place in downtown Nashville.
Uh-huh.
They were like, Pete Carroll's got one of those. Everybody's got one of those.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, take your wife. Not yours, but somebody's.
He might.
How can Pete Carroll get back in the NFL at 73, but Belichick can't get a job?
Well, I mean, again, we just praised him, but it is the Raiders. They always do weird things. Yeah. I mean, we'll see if Pete still got it. He hadn't been in the NFL for a minute, so we'll see if he still got it.
I think I don't know if it's harder than ever to still have it at an advanced age, but I don't think basketball and football, in terms of the thinking of it, is that different than any other sort of creative process like songwriting and screenwriting. And the older you get, the harder it becomes to change and adjust and have fresh ideas. We talked about it before, like with Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan will tell you, I cannot write the songs that I wrote when I was 22 today. My mind doesn't work like that anymore. I can't. Those thoughts don't even enter my head anymore. I can do different things, but I can't do that anymore. So look at Arkansas basketball. They got a soon-to-be 66-year-old head coach who hasn't adapted well to the changing of the sport of basketball. Football changes too. One of my favorite things about the Nick Saban legacy is that he was smart enough to understand,
I got to get out.
Well, maybe that, but even before that, this game's not being played the way I teach it and the way I used to coach it. And Nick Saban used to want to beat you 10-7.
That's right.
And then he wanted to beat you 50-35.
You're right.
And he went out and he'd hire Lane Kiffin and it'd be like, and now Alabama's got this high-octane. What Nick Saban recognizes there is the game has changed. This is the way to do it. Hire somebody who knows how to do that, and then let them do it. If Pete Carroll's smart enough to do something similar, then I think it's very important for older coaches in all sports to surround themselves with young people, with fresh ideas. I think that's very important. If John Calipari doesn't do it this offseason, I'm not sure he'll ever achieve what it is people want him to achieve at Arkansas. At some point, you've been doing it a certain way, and it can become difficult to learn how to do it a different way. It would be like, what is something you do every day? And just name anything.
Press buttons.
Okay. What if I told you, what hand do you usually use to press, like your right hand? What if I said starting tomorrow, you can only do it with your left? All right? You have to do it with your, you'd feel weird. It would do, and at some point you just be like, I don't know, I'm just going to do it the way I used to do it. I'm more comfortable doing it the way I used to do it. People take golf lessons, and then they go right back to doing it the way they used to do it because it's just more comfortable doing it that way than it is trying to learn a new way. Coaching is similar. It's hard to learn new ways to do things.
Yep.
So how do you get your team to do things it needs to do in the year 2025 if your mind's not there in that way? You hire people whose minds are in that place, who grew up doing it the way it needs to be done now. You grew up doing it a different way. Now, there are young people who know nothing but a modernized style of football. Hire them. Who's the greatest offensive mind under the age of 38 in the NFL? anywhere. That's who I'm looking at, people like that. I'll be 73, but I'm going to surround myself with young people with fresh ideas. If he does that, it could work. If not, it might not.
Yeah.
And maybe not at all because it's the Raiders and stuff usually doesn't work there anyway.
No, that's
I wish
a
him
good
luck,
point,
though.
yeah.
He's a good-looking old man.
He is, yeah. Congrats, Pete.
Congrats, Pete.
Number 5.
Grammy performers are being announced, starting to leak out.
They are.
You got the list? You sent it to me?
I do have the list.
Are you excited about the...
I am. The Grammys are next week. I am excited. It's on America's Most Watched Network.
Network of Stars?
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. So we got performers announced today, which include Billie Eilish. Everybody knows her. Chappell Roan, Charlie XCX, Ray, Sabrina Carpenter, Shakira, Teddy Swims. I don't know how to say this.
Doechii?
I think that's how you say it.
That's how you say it.
Doechii, yeah. And
she's incredible.
She is good.
She's about to... You ready for this? You don't know how to say Doechii? In a year, everybody will know how to say Doechii.
Everybody know how to say it. Yeah, she is good.
She's a monster. Like Glow is right there with Meg. Like Glow's one of the biggest women rappers in terms of...
Yep.
You know how I feel about Glow. Doechii's a different level deal. Like it's just a different thing altogether. It's a little bit like this. Kendrick Lamar's a rapper. Lil Baby's a rapper. They don't even try to do the same thing, right?
Right.
Because like one of them can't do the stuff that the other guy's doing. It's just different levels altogether. This other stuff can be fun, but it ain't the art that the other guy's doing, right? A little bit like that. Doechii's the artist.
Gotcha.
She's incredible. Might have album of the year.
She's nominated, I believe.
Go look at her Tiny Desk concert. She was on Jimmy Fallon or one of those recently. Incredible television performance. She'll kill it at the Grammys. You ready for this? When the Grammys are over, Google searches for Doechii will go through the roof because she's going to knock that thing out of the park.
So no, she's nominated for Best New Artist. In fact, a lot of these performers are nominated in that Best New Artist category. So they got some current acts. Benson Boone's going to be there too. He's going to be at River Beat. They just announced last week, which is pretty cool. So yeah, it looks like a pretty good lineup. I like the Grammy. I think the Grammys are the best award show just because obviously you get the performances, right? Like there's a little something for everybody.
Yeah, but I don't love the timing of it because isn't the Grammys week before the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that's right. February 2nd. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the problem with the timing. The guy who had the biggest year in music is
not going to be there because he's got to get ready for the Super Bowl. That's a good point.
Yeah. In any other year, he would be at the Grammys and be performing at the Grammys. Kendrick. And you're not going to go do that a week before the Super Bowl. So that's not great.
No.
But I love the Grammys just like you. Looking forward to Doechii. Be a fun night. Sunday night at television, right? Sunday night?
Yeah, it's Sunday night. Your nominees for record of the year is the biggest category, right? I think it's
album of the year.
I think it's record album song. Like I think record.
I'll pick the winner right now. Go ahead.
Okay, record of the year. All right. Taylor Swift, Post Malone, Fortnite, Chappell Roan, Good Luck Babe, Kendrick Lamar, Not Like Us,
That's the song of the year.
Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, Charlie XCX, 360, Sabrina Carpenter, Espresso, Beyonce, Texas Hold'em, and then how are those the Beatles Now and Then that like re-released or rediscovered? I don't know.
Not Like Us was the biggest song of the year, just clearly, right?
I think so. I mean,
but I never know. I know it's not supposed to matter. But you got all these stars in the building. Kendrick's not going to be there.
Going to be there, and
no, just do you give big awards to somebody who's not there? I know they do sometimes. I just never know how that's going to impact things. I'm not suggesting that it does. It's something that pops into my head.
That's man. But who are you giving it to besides him? Probably.
This could be a Beyonce Grammys where they just make up for a lot of
make up for lost time.
Remember when they did that with Leo at the Oscars?
That's right.
They could do that with Beyonce this year.
See it.
I look forward to watching. It's on America's most watched network, the Network of Stars. The Grammys are coming to CBS. Be back with GP's Carryout.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing at FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
A night of comedy with Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
Now, is this a family? Is this your mother? Where is she? Is she in the crowd? You don't know where your mom is. The mom's up there. What kind of family is this? I'm sorry.
Sebastian Maniscalco and Jim Gaffigan.
I went ziplining for the last time. What is wrong with us? Would you pay $200 to feel like you're about to die 6 times?
Live in Memphis, FedEx Forum, Friday, February 21st. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap this up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
Whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on the Grizzlies in the first hour with the Pelicans in town. 7 o'clock tip tonight inside FedEx Forum. The Grizzlies enter 29-15, just a half game back of the Houston Rockets. And Bennett, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this, but the Rockets, they got a tough one coming up.
Yeah, they're at Cleveland tonight, right?
At Cleveland, I think it's tomorrow night.
And then at Boston, they got Cleveland and Boston on the road back to back. So, yeah, you need to win these two.
They've got at Cleveland, at Boston, at Atlanta, and then we're bringing them down here to FedEx Forum.
Dude, that game could literally be the chance to, like, you could either be ahead of them going into that game or, like, a chance to pass them going into that game.
We're going to be ahead of them by Saturday night,
I
Bennett.
would hope so. I'm
going to be sitting at home watching Saturday night main event.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a moment where I'm going, okay, that game's final. Cleveland just beat the Rockets, and the Grizzlies just beat the Pelicans. And so you know who's alone in second place in the Western Conference standings come Saturday night? Your Memphis Grizzlies.
I want that 2 seed. A couple things coming out of shoot around. Ja Morant wasn't there, so the illness is real. Like, it appears he is dealing with something. So hopefully he's better tonight for the game.
Get some Pepto.
But he wasn't
a
shoot around today.
Pepto works.
And this was interesting from Drew Hill. Jay Huff talked to the media at shoot around and said that if the league calls and asks about the dunk contest that he's in, so that's something to keep an eye on.
Jay Huff in the dunk contest.
I would love it, man.
It would be. What if he just did little, like, reverse dunks?
Yeah,
little
I
tall
mean, he's
white
clearly,
guy reverse dunks.
He's clearly mastered the reverse dunk. He does it better than anybody else in the league. I'd like to see what else he's got in his bag. I would, yeah.
All right. Hey, you're not going to get an objection from me.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Put J Huff in a dunk contest.
By the way, I don't want to bury the lead. Happy birthday, dude.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you,
Happy
man.
birthday to you.
Yeah. I know that, like, it's not going to be the best birthday considering that you have a dead car in the parking garage. You got to figure it out.
I'm more concerned about all this talking I got to do the rest of the day still.
You still got to talk?
I got a lot of talking to do. I'm so
Brother,
tired.
you've already done 2 podcasts. How much talking you got to do?
A lot.
Damn.
I got to go.
They don't know it's your birthday?
I don't know. I'm not joking. I really need to just shut up for a minute.
Like, yeah.
Just mentally, I'm like,
I get it.
I am worn down. Like I always feel stupid saying I'm worn down. Like the people have real jobs and have to do real stuff.
No, but you have to use your voice for a living. You need to rest that.
I'm genuinely like mentally exhausted. Like I feel beat. I just feel like I need to shut up for a minute. Like I would like to have a day where I don't have to speak. I don't have to answer any questions. I don't have to express any opinions.
Yeah.
I just can sit in silence. I'm looking forward to that.
Good.
April. I'll do it in April.
That's right.
I'm gonna do that in April.
Well, yeah. What does Rothstein always say?
We sleep in May.
We sleep in May. There you go.
He might be onto something. He might be onto something. Anyway, Grizzlies tonight inside FedEx Forum. Pelicans are in town. Still a 10.5-point favorite, even with Ja Morant questionable because of an illness. So barring a surprise, the Grizz should win tonight, get their 30th win of the season. If we can combine that with a Rockets loss in Cleveland tomorrow night, guess who's in first place? Second place. Guess who's in second place? Alone. Western Conference standings on Saturday night / Sunday morning. Your Memphis Grizz. But you got to take care of business at home.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And by the way, Cleveland looking for revenge. They lost that heartbreaker to the Rockets, so they want revenge. They're going to take that one seriously.
If there's one thing I know about the Cavaliers, it's that they want revenge.
Cavs.
Let's go Cavs. Go get them this weekend.
What are we watching on TV?
I guess we're watching SmackDown.
Okay.
Well, hold on, Bennett. Look what that says.
Wait, was the Grizz? I got confused because the Grizzly. Yeah, okay, my bad.
Today's biggest game.
Okay.
I understand what happened.
Right.
I understand what happened.
Yeah. I got confused.
I'm gonna take you to college basketball.
What's going on?
Michigan, Purdue. It's a Big Ten showdown inside Mackey Arena, the place Zach Edey used to call home. Purdue's 3.5-point favorite tonight. Total's 152.5. 7 o'clock tip on Fox. How you gonna act?
Didn't you say it ain't been the same in Peru since Zach Edey left?
That's what it looks like.
That's what
little
worries
number.
me.
Little number.
That's what worries me, man.
It's a little number.
That's what worries me about this. How's Michigan doing lately?
They're 14-4 overall, 6-1 in the Big Ten under first-year coach Dusty May. You might remember him as a former Florida Atlantic Owl, but he got out of there just as quick as he could.
Let me have. I feel my heart is saying Purdue, and it's time to not follow my heart. Although I should have followed my heart last night with the Tigers. I said I was like, I feel nervous about this game. I shouldn't have taken the 12.5. Give me the Wolverines. Give me Michigan.
Bennett said take Michigan and Dusty May on the road inside Mackey Arena. He's getting 3.5 points tonight. You can watch it on Fox in prime time.
What are we watching on TV?
SmackDown tonight.
What's going on SmackDown? I got to get back.
I didn't even really love Netflix Raw the other night.
I know. I got to get back on board. I've just been immersed in the Grizzlies and the Tigers and NFL. I need to get back.
They trying to
movie
push
watching.
They trying to push these Motor City Machine Guns on us.
What's that?
They were tag team champions for a minute.
Damn, see, I'm like really, really falling behind. And I'm going to SmackDown. Like, I'll be there. I need to catch up.
When is that?
Next week.
Yeah.
Isn't it next week? No, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from tonight.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going too.
I gotta get back.
So
Did you get some
City
good tickets?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I don't have them yet.
Yeah. I'm sitting.
I'll wave at you.
I mean, I'm sitting.
I'm hoping I'm in the ring.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'll wave. I'll FaceTime you.
Okay.
I'll FaceTime you from
feel like
from
I'm down there. Yeah.
These Motor City Machine Guns, I just don't care about them. They're from Detroit. I just don't care about them.
Okay.
All right. But they'll be there tonight.
I'm unfamiliar with their work.
LA Knight against Tamatanga.
Oh, God.
I just don't care about Either one.
Who's this new dude with the face paint?
Oh,
I'm not even familiar with him.
Oh, he's from Mexico.
And he's like super famous. Everybody's talking about him. I'm not even familiar with his work.
Oh, they love him.
I got to get back.
He's a new luchador.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's a thing.
I'm gonna digest everything this weekend, and I'm gonna be ready to roll in 2 weeks for SmackDown.
That's the attitude I like to hear.
Yeah.
We got SmackDown tonight, and then the Saturday night main event thing on NBC in primetime. That's tomorrow night. You know about that?
Yeah. So I guess they're doing this now every so often.
It feels like a premium live event.
Yeah.
But rather than just be on Peacock, it's on actual NBC. But primetime tomorrow night on NBC. Yeah. So they had that when we were kids, when I was a kid, and then we lost it for a little while. But we got it back now. We've already done one of them, I think. Tomorrow night will be the next one. So it's you got wrestling in primetime tonight, wrestling in primetime tomorrow night. You can enjoy it if you want to.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the best thing we've read?
Well, I don't know. I told you the Jaemyn Brakefield story at Ole Miss during 5 More Things. It is being edited and published at CBSSports.com right now, I think. So look for it later on today and give it a read if you're interested in it.
What's on tap next week?
Well, on Monday, we'll be celebrating the second place Grizzlies. That goes without saying. We'll have a Super Bowl set, won't we?
Yes, we will, man. It's a big weekend. It's a big weekend.
AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game.
I need the Bills to get this done. I need the Bills to do this. I need a happy home. I need my wife to be happy. I need her family to be happy. They've suffered enough with that franchise.
How does your wife balance these things? On one hand, Buffalo.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Oh, it's all Bills. They're all Bills. They hate the Chiefs, and and I mean she's a big take. She went to the Eras tour. I didn't go.
I went.
She went to the Eras tour. I didn't go. I know you went too.
I was there.
But no, there's no love for the Chiefs.
Okay, I root for excellence. We've never had a three-peat Super Bowl champion, Bennett.
I want the Bills. I really want the Bills to win this Super Bowl. I really, really do. That is a tortured fan base. I want it for them. I want it for my fam. Like I'm rooting like hell for the Bills. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, they're gonna play it on America's Most Watched Network. It's the network of stars.
It's a big game.
Huge game.
Yep.
Huge game. And then we'll be back on Monday to talk about it.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait. Enjoy your weekend. I'll try to enjoy mine. And we'll meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.